There I am.
Hey.
Oh wait, that's my friend in the background. I forgot to change it.
That's all good. You can keep it if you want. It's fine.
Yeah, I think he'll find it funny if he sees himself in the back.
Okay, cool.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's going good. Thanks for joining. Thanks for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. No one's ever asked to like interview me about my YouTube channel, so thank you for wanting to do this. It's an honor.
Exciting. Cool.
Yeah.
I guess to start off, do you want to like just introduce yourself in case people don't really know like who you are?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Mark. I have a YouTube channel. My channel is Mark Robles. And basically it's like kind of like a daily, not a daily vlog. It's a vlog slash travel channel, but
Right.
I try to make it less go to this place at this place, and then another fun thing to do is to go there because I kind of feel like you could just look that up on the internet
Yeah.
and learn that yourself. So I try to make it more of this is just me experiencing whatever, this mountain is like, or this walk, or whatever part of New Zealand we happen to find ourselves in. Yeah.
Right. Cool. So
Yeah.
you're originally from Canada, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
What made you want to come to New Zealand?
It's basically me being Canadian, the working holiday visa age goes up until the age of 35.
Ah, right.
Uh, so basically, my wife and I, it's something that we've always wanted to do and never really did after school. I know
Yeah.
most students once they graduate, they do their gap year and they'll go to, they'll spend a year traveling abroad versus for us, we just went straight into like our career jobs, so
Yeah.
to speak, and we never did the living abroad thing. And then after like almost a decade of working office jobs, we're like, oh, we're gonna get too old for this. And most countries, the cutoff age is 30 years old for the working holiday visa. And it just so happens that New Zealand was the only country where I was eligible to do this. And so it just kind of ended up being New Zealand by default. But in a way, I'm very happy that it was that. And it worked out good because New Zealand is so similar to Canada in terms of the language and the culture. So it's like living abroad in New Zealand didn't really require much adjustments. So,
Right.
but yeah, definitely it was the whole Canadian working holiday visa thing that kind of preempted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had you guys been to New Zealand before, or was it like?
No,
Oh,
never. And that was part of like the scary part was
yeah.
just having to go somewhere, the intention of living there
Yeah, yeah.
and never having visited.
Like not
Because
knowing
that,
anyone, right?
yeah, that's it. And also like I had never lived anywhere, like lived abroad before. Like the longest we'd ever spent outside of Canada was like maybe a month and a half or so, just like in Europe. But we were visiting and essentially we were tourists, but the intention was never to stay and work. So to go to a country that we've never been to with the idea that we were going to stay there for at least 1 year was a bit scary.
Right. Did you guys have a plan like of places that you were gonna go, or were you just gonna like kind of go with the flow?
Kind of wing it, I guess. Yeah, like I didn't really know too much about New Zealand at the time, but in a way I think it kind of made it better because we kind of just
Right.
looked at where we were going. Like we arrived in Wellington and we knew that we were gonna go to the South Island first because I have a cousin that recently, well, before she was in New Zealand a couple months before, maybe half a year before I arrived.
Oh, okay.
So we knew that she was gonna be in Dunedin. So we're like, okay, when we arrive in Welly, let's
Yeah.
just cross the Cook Strait and then start making our way south and then everything kind of that's the beauty of New Zealand is you could just be spontaneous and not really have a plan because everything is just so convenient and easy to access. So we didn't have a plan at all as to where we were going to go. It was just, just going with the flow.
Cool. How was
Yeah.
it, like packing? Like, did you guys bring a lot of stuff with you, or were you like
Um
minimal?
every, no, pretty light packing. We had just basically like a backpacker's backpack.
Okay.
So everything like what we were bringing had to basically fit in that pack.
Yeah.
So it was like 10 t-shirts, you know, like maybe 2 weeks worth of underwear, two pairs of jeans, like really packing light. And and we knew that if we overpacked, we're the ones that are gonna have to carry our packs anyway. So having just like a backpack, which like a backpacker's pack, really helps with limiting what you can bring. So that kind of put a cap on the things. It made it difficult, but I always considered myself a bit of a minimalist anyway. So like if you could just live off the items that you have that you can fit
Yeah.
into one backpack, then it just makes your life a lot easier. Less options.
Is there anything that shocked you, or like, what do you think are the kind of major differences that you noticed when you got here?
That's actually kind of funny because all I could see were similarities.
Oh,
Like
really?
when the yeah, when we took the Inter Islander and we
Yeah.
arrived into Picton, it was like seeing the west coast of Canada with
All right.
just like
Yeah.
the trees, and there was the lumber yard, and I'm just like, this feels like
Are you from
Vancouver.
Vancouver?
No, from Montreal. So
Oh,
we're on the east coast of
oh,
Canada,
cool, cool.
but it looked a lot like
Yeah.
kind of what you would see in British Columbia,
Yeah.
and also the fact that people say sorry a lot.
Yeah.
In Canada, everybody, you know, Americans make fun of Canadians all the time
Sorry.
for saying sorry, and then so that was like a pleasant surprise to hear
Yeah.
New Zealanders say sorry just as much as we do. But I'm trying to think of differences, or
No.
other than I guess the wildlife.
Oh, yeah.
We're not used to just finding fur seals on the beach,
Oh, right. Yeah.
or sea lions and penguins. Like that's very
Yeah.
not
Like
normal.
just
And
sheep across the road.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or even just going off into the forest and like doing a nature walk, and knowing that you don't have to worry about predator animals or
There's no
bears or
scares.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just getting used to being comfortable being in the woods took a while, but after a while you kind of just get used to it.
Nice. Is there
Yeah.
anything you miss from home?
Yeah, definitely the food, because
Oh,
being from Montreal, there's just a lot of so many good restaurants. The
yeah.
smoke is amazing. They have poutine in Have you
Yeah.
ever had poutine before?
I haven't. I want to try it though.
It's well, you're in Auckland, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
somewhere that does it. Yeah.
There's a place by the casino.
Oh, is
It's
it
like
called like the Federal Delicatessen?
yes, yeah, yeah, the Federal
Something.
diner.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have poutine there, which is basically just chips, cheese curds, and gravy. Which right now we're in Queenstown, and there's actually quite a few places that serve poutine. But yeah, I miss the food. Um, Poutine being one of them, I guess. And I guess the I kind of miss the choices, like options. I guess it just comes with being from a big city. You're used to like
Yeah, right.
so many cafes, and like
Mm,
you could eat at a restaurant every day for a whole year, and
right.
you
Yeah.
won't have to go to the same place twice. Even I would say Auckland is kind of like a watered down version of Montreal.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, definitely the selection. But I've also gotten used to just being here and kind of being like, well, you don't have to eat at like a new restaurant. Doesn't always have to be a new cafe that you have to go to. It's kind of like it is what it is.
Enjoy.
And there are some pretty good poutine places that we've been to here in New Zealand.
Cool. Nice. So, when
Yeah.
did you guys arrive again in New Zealand? A couple
We
years.
arrived on the 21st of November 2018.
Oh, okay. That's quite a while.
Yeah.
So has
It
your
was.
gotten extended? Like, continue.
Yeah, like we were supposed to be back in Canada by now, but the New Zealand government extended our visas, luckily,
Oh, nice.
and it really doesn't feel like it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's part of the beauty of having a YouTube channel, is that you can
Right.
go back and rewatch like those old vlogs, and it's just
Yeah.
it feels like so long ago, but really it's you're just like you're in a different place at the time, and it's interesting to see how far you've come.
Cool, cool. I
Yeah.
mean, you say like you're in Queenstown at the moment. Do you guys have like a favorite place
Yeah,
that you've been to?
we really like. I really like the pizzas at Fat Badgers. It's like a pizza place, and they do the poutine there too as well. Oh, Caribe is really good. I don't know if you've been to Caribe. It's like a
Nah.
Latin teaching place.
I've only been to
Uh,
Queenstown like once when I was really young. So
oh, you have to
yeah,
come back, especially now
yeah,
with the lockdown. I'm sure when you were here last time, it was just a zoo, but
yeah.
it's a completely different atmosphere here. You just have a lot more room to move around, and it's a more relaxed Queenstown, so you don't have to wait in line as much. But yeah, Caribe has really good burritos, and I like the ice rink too. They have an ice arena here.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
There's not too many of those in New Zealand,
yeah.
about six or five of them. But the one here is really cool. They're owned by these two Canadian guys, and they made it really like ice hockey
Nice.
centered. So there's
Yeah.
all these like Gordie Howe and like NHL memorabilia outside. So yeah, I like visiting that place and going for a skate.
From your channel, I've seen a lot of travel vlogs, but like you haven't really talked much about work. Like, have you had any jobs here, or is it just kind of been traveling the whole time?
We've done one main job when we were up in Hamilton.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
That's actually where we spent most of our time in New Zealand in one place.
Okay. It's
Um,
interesting because a lot of people say like Hamilton's not that, not a
Why
great.
Hamilton?
Yeah,
Why the Tron City?
not the Tron.
Why the city of the future? Yeah. That's actually what the first thing my boss asked me
Yeah.
when I walked into the office. He was just like, "Why Hamilton?" And I think I must have given this answer so many times, so I'll tell you what I told
Okay.
him. Basically, we were looking for a place that had a lot of like administrative office jobs, since
Okay.
that's kind of the background that like my wife and I had. We had a lot of experience, so we knew that we could get good jobs pretty quickly with that in
Yeah.
our resumes, and the jobs would be better paying than like fruit picking jobs.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was like, all right, Hamilton's got like actual buildings, so
Yeah.
we knew that we could go there. And because we were traveling through like the Coromandel and Mata Mata and all that, and you can't really find office
Not that.
jobs there.
Yeah.
So Hamilton was good. It was kind of a toss up between Auckland and Hamilton,
Yeah.
but Hamilton was cheaper in terms of
Yeah.
rent, so
Definitely.
we went for that. And also, there's not much to do in Hamilton, so there was like less temptation to spend your money, because
True.
the goal was to just work really hard for the winter and save as much as we could, and then quit those jobs and then just go back to traveling around the country.
Right.
So yeah, that's how Hamilton came about. So I was working at the city council,
Okay.
and my wife was working at a home loans company.
Okay. So you think
Yeah.
like it's definitely possible to get kind of more like professional jobs on a working holiday?
Yeah, it really depends on what your experience is, I guess. What we did is we went into a recruitment agent, and then she kind of just asked us the type of work that we were looking for, and based on our resumes, she's like, I could get you something like in no time at all. And she wasn't kidding, because within 2 days, my wife got her job, and
Oh,
then I got my job in about a week.
uh,
And the crazy thing is that I didn't even have to interview for the job.
oh, okay.
They, they
What?
kind of just said, "Is Monday okay for you?" And I was
Oh,
like, "For the interview?" And they're like, "No, like your first day." I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
sweet. Yeah, yeah, that works."
Okay.
So, man, New Zealand, it was so awesome, because that sort of thing would not happen back in
Yeah.
Canada. Like, you would interview and then hope that you kind of get one of those jobs, but for
Yeah.
them to just say, "Yeah, you got a job on Monday," and you don't even have to interview your boss. I mean, your boss doesn't have to interview
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I kind of walked in, and then he sat me down and asked me a couple questions,
Yeah.
but it was more of like an informal chat than an interview. And then,
Oh,
yeah, it was a pretty chill job.
cool. Yeah. I guess going into your YouTube, like what made you want to start making videos?
Primarily because I've always kind of liked to make videos. It's something that I did like years ago, but just to kind of mess around. But it's something that
Yeah.
I've always been interested in, both the filming and then the post-production side of things, where like you take the footage and make montages and edit the whole thing into one like cohesive package. And the second reason is that I wanted to be able to like, I was really gonna miss my parents and my friends, and
Yeah.
I was very scared to like just go do that whole experience. And doing YouTube videos kind of gave me a way to film like what everyday life was like
Yeah, like an
for
outlet
like an,
to showcase. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's like a creative outlet and also a way to just show like what my life is like and what I'm doing here and all the amazing things I'm doing in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So yeah, it serviced those two things.
Cool, nice. I actually wanted to
Yeah.
ask you about Montreal because I was meant to do like an exchange there last year.
Oh, nice.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to go because
Was this for like for studying?
yeah, for university.
Oh, cool. Which university?
I was gonna go. Where was I gonna go? Concordia.
Concordia. That's where I went.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
go because COVID, but
I think it's a good thing then that you ended up sticking around here because had you gone, you probably would have been doing most of your classes online
yeah,
and all
no,
that.
it was like all the exchanges were cancelled, so
Oh, okay.
like I couldn't even go if I wanted to. Um,
Oh, that's unfortunate.
yeah, but like, do you have any favorite places or things you recommend like people do if they're gonna visit Montreal?
Yeah, I really like Old Montreal. It's well, Old Montreal, Old Port. It's kind of this post-colonial like architecture part of the city, with like the cobblestones and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
horse-drawn buggies and all that. It's really like a really cool part of the city. And the great thing about Montreal is that there are these like little pockets around the city that kind of showcase different immigrant experiences. Like if you go to there's an area called the Mile End. There's a lot of like kosher Hebrew type places, delis, and all that because
yeah,
there's the wave of migrants. I guess Jewish migrants went there, and then if you go to like Park Extension, there's a lot of South Asian, like Indian, Pakistani restaurants there as well. And then there's also some Greek restaurants in that area. So it's kind of a cool place to just explore. You can go to these, just look up different areas, and if that's what you're into, if you're into like trying new foods and all that, and then if you want to do kind of the main touristy things, you could visit the Olympic Stadium, go to the St. Joseph Oratory, yeah, go to just downtown Montreal on St. Catherine. There's a huge network of like underground tunnels that kind of connect different shopping malls,
oh yeah, I've heard
and
that. It's because like in winter it gets super like cold, right?
yeah, yeah. So even though it's -20,
Yeah,
the moment you get on the metro or the subway, we call it the metro, you pretty much can take your winter jacket off because if you're going to like the downtown area, everything is connected.
uh,
Even like Concordia's campus. If you get off at Geek Concordia station, there's a tunnel that takes you directly to the building, so you don't even have to go outside.
I guess just finally, like you guys are in Queenstown. Like what are your plans for the future and like yeah, I don't know. Do you see yourself like staying in New Zealand or do you like want to go back Canada or
Um, it's so complicated now with COVID
yeah,
because I know like a lot of our friends and family do want us to go back,
yeah,
and our plan at the moment is to go back at the end of our visa, which would coincidentally it kind of lines up with the start of summer in
oh,
Montreal,
cool.
which is really awesome
Yeah,
because it gets nice and hot, and then all the different terraces start to open up, so restaurants put out their tables, and it's an awesome vibe in Montreal just because people in the city know that in like 3 or 4
yeah,
months time it's going to start to get cold
right.
again and the days are going to get shorter, so they really make the most of the summer.
Yeah, that's like Wellington. If
So
you go on a sunny day, like everyone's out like on the beach.
everyone is out.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. When the wind lets up for like 2 seconds, everyone just goes and
yeah,
enjoys themselves. So yeah, that's kind of what Montreal is like. So um, at the end of our visa, our plan is to go back for the summer, and we're really happy that our visas got extended
mm,
because that would have meant that we would have finished winter here in New Zealand, and then the start of a Canadian winter would have happened at the end of October. So like
yeah.
yeah, I was not looking forward to that at all.
Like two
And
winters
with
in a row.
and then with COVID, we would have been in lockdown and we
Yeah,
wouldn't have been able to even visit our friends or hug them or go to the restaurants that I've been wanting to go back
yeah,
to. So it wouldn't have been the experience that I wanted to. Fingers crossed by the time our visas are up, things will be
yeah.
more back to normal and enjoy our second summer there. but we'll see. And anything can happen, you know.
Cool, exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for taking the time. I'll leave all your links down below
Thanks
so
for
everyone can
interviewing
go
me.
follow and subscribe. So yeah, everyone, check out your channel, and yeah,
Yes, check out my channel.
sweet. Thanks so much.